Hey, Rumble World Entertainment, and I hope you all had a good Christmas, or at least Christmas Day, because we're still in the holiday season. But we're back at jumping into stories and videos and blah blah blah, and we're talking Star Wars again. Yes, the evil Star Wars has reared its head once again, but this one's fascinating because we have in this story the fact that Skeleton Crew, that's right, the brand new kiddie show, is a total disaster for the fact nobody is watching it. We have the real reason and confirmation as to what we all were saying as to why the Acolyte was cancelled. And we also have this staggering number that Disney are paying for the Andor series. Yeah. So regarding the Skeleton Crew, we can easily jump into that and out of it because it's so quick to talk about. Yeah, nobody's watching it, and it's not been able to chart in any of the charts at any time. It has never charted, and they're kind of going, oh, but this is the show that's getting all the good positive reviews from people. And it's like, yeah, but no one cares. Like the handful of people who actually checked it out went, yeah, it's not terrible, but they've all said, yeah, it's super childish, like it's for kids. So nobody's checking it out. Nobody's caring. Nobody's reviewing this thing except the shills. It's a disaster. And now it puts Disney in the spot of, well, what do they do? And believe it or not, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter actually has called out Kathleen Kennedy. They even said, how far can Disney go to let this woman fail upwards? They actually said this. It's like, wait a minute. Is this them? It was either the Hollywood Reporter or the New York Times. It's one of them two. But it was just like mind-blowing to see this being said. And they even brought up the fact that Skeleton Crew is their newest show out there. That for the people who checked it out said, yeah, it's decent, but that nobody is actually watching it. That it cannot chart. And what's the point then? But then it came to the Acolyte. And of course, the Acolyte was cancelled after one season, and rightfully so, because Jesus Christ, that thing was a nightmare to get through. And we were speculating that, yeah, they didn't just cancel because people weren't watching it. They cancelled because the price tag of this thing was so astonishingly large that it made no sense for Disney to have any justification into going, well, we're not putting that much money into another season of this crap if nobody's watching it. That turns out to be exactly the reason. So let's have a look at this. So it says the Acolyte divided opinion when it hit Disney Plus back in June, but the series had become a target of apparent review bombing weeks before that. Certain cast members, meanwhile, were faced with abuse and trolling. No, they didn't. Shut the fuck up, you morons. So while the negativity surrounding the show did seem to lessen interest, there's no denying the fact Lucasfilm failed to deliver a story that hooked fans and non-fans alike. So here's one of these articles that just annoys the piss out of you because it goes, oh, it failed because all of these people over here were just toxic and racist and all this crap. And then you go ahead and add into it, yeah, but the show actually sucked and it didn't actually hook anyone. So which is it? I can't stand when they do this. Well, let's continue anyway. With that in mind, the news of the Acolyte's cancellation didn't come as a huge surprise. Apparently it did when it happened to all you morons, and now you numbnuts are sitting here going, it actually wasn't. Still, Season 2 not happening means several plot threads are left unresolved, and fans have since been left with a long list of unanswered questions. The biggest ones all related to the surprise appearance from Darth Plagueis, or the creepo in the cave. Talking to Vulture about the past, present and future of Star Wars on streaming, Disney Entertainment co-chair Alan Bergman explained that, this is him now, as it relates to the Acolyte, we were happy with our performance, but it wasn't where we needed it to be given the cost structure of that title. Quite frankly, to go and make a season 2. So that's the reason why we didn't renew it. So right there, he's saying we were happy with what we were given. That's bullshit and cope, but okay. But he's following that up with, but it did not land where we needed it to land, which was we needed it to be in the top 10, if not top 5, and it didn't crack that. And we spent $230 plus million on this shit, and it can't chart. So that's them saying, yeah, we pulled the plug on it because we're not doing that again. We're not giving that money for something that can't chart and no one's watching. Well, this next part then is going to really piss off those 5 people who actually want a season 2 of The Acolyte. Because we now have what the cost is for Andor. And it is staggering. So check this out. Now again, remember, Andor, much like Skeleton Crew at the moment, was positively received, mostly anyway. But again, nobody watched it. Here's the issue with this one. The future of Disney's Star Wars remains unclear, but this latest bit of news must produce a reckoning inside the company of what exactly they're doing here, and how much longer this can possibly continue. Fellow Forbes contributor Caroline Reed has reported via Disney's own disclosures, because this is the thing, they have to disclose the tax for this Andor and stuff because it was filmed in the UK. So this is where they get the forms to see what the budgets were. That the total cost of Andor on Disney Plus, this is for both seasons now, will be a stunning $645 million between 2 seasons, with $290 million spent on season 2. Again, this is straight out of Disney's own financials due to disclosure rules in the UK. Yeah, you heard that all completely correct. The spending for 2 seasons of Andor, remember the first season next to nobody watched, for the 2 seasons was $645 million. That is insane. And the fact that they spent $290 million out of that 645 for season 2, that is double the price, well, almost double the price of The Acolyte. And no one actually cares about this show. Yes, there are people who enjoyed it, but again, there wasn't enough for the thing to chart all the time. I think it got in like 8th place at one stage maybe, but then just fell off a cliff. Nobody cares. And the fact now that you have these media outlets that were backing Kathleen Kennedy to the hilt are now calling it out. And not just Kathleen Kennedy, but Disney as a whole. And Lucasfilm saying like this, like, what are you doing? You have to change the structure of what you are doing. How can you be spending this much money on streaming shows? Like, you're putting $645 million into something that you're never going to be able to recuperate. You're not getting money back for this. So this is just the state of Star Wars now. That you're spending so much money on a show that can't chart. And nobody's watching, nobody's talking about, it never trends in Skeleton Crew. You cancelled one show because you spent over $230 million on that couldn't chart, nobody watched, and was just dog shit. And now we're finding out that season 1 that nobody watched and nobody talked about and never trend, and now the upcoming season 2 that I'm sure nobody will watch, nobody will speak about, and it will never trend, and it'll probably never chart, you spent $645 million on. What are they doing? And things have to change. There's no way about it. Things have to change. How can you justify this and keep this woman in charge? And now they're going to spend, or at least try and spend, more money on the movie end of things. Can't wait for those to come out. We get to actually see the box office numbers, because that'll be very telling. So, with that, let us know in the comments what you think of this and just how crazy this spending is on these shows that nobody cares about. Let us know. And with that, I'll leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.